I forgot I was introing. So, good evening and welcome everybody to Edessa, the Dark Crusade. As we are joined in the stables with the fabulous Malkavian known as Mr. Garnet, as he is pottering around his horses, taking 3 blood points off 3 of them, which in total will equate to 3 blood points each. He has already fed today, and well, you know what? He's feeling a bit peckish. It wasn't exactly a good meal, but it's good to potter up, even though it tastes horrible. He wipes his brow, licks his lips, gets the tang out of his mouth, and spits. But it satisfies. It keeps one sane as he gently pats the horse very fondly, and then will begin to walk out and whistle lightly. He'll see someone probably running with quite bounded excitement up the passageway towards the stables.
Naturally. Alonso in tow, actually, because she can't go where she's been going without him.
He'll raise an eyebrow seeing Mina come at him with, such baited excitement. He'll kind of turn and look at her. What is it, darling?
Oh, Sister Madeleine wants to talk to you.
Oh, she does she? About what?
Oh, she wouldn't tell me specifically, in detail, but it sounds an awful lot like you've seen a thing in the bathhouse, and she's seen a thing a time or two now. And even Johanna's seen a thing that shouldn't be.
Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He'll turn and put his hands behind his back and begin walking towards the inside of the stables.
She'll follow along. So I imagine she will pass off Alonso, potentially to Elena, because Lord knows they've been taking shifts with him.
I want you to keep an eye on Elena, by the way. I'm going to be doing meetings, not bringing her in. However, I just want you to keep an eye on her. He'll nod to himself.
An eye for what?
I want you to be sure that she's not a carrier of the plague. I've made sure that she's not meeting anyone important. Just watch her and make sure that she's not. To turn and look at him slowly and smile. Make sure I don't have to get another. If you know what I mean.
You want me to find a plague doctor, brother?
We will need a plague doctor, however. Make sure he's human. Make sure, you grin, I can grab him very quickly.
She will, of course, sweep into a bow.
Of course, dear brother.
Good. With a plague doctor, we can make some plans. In fact, even if you want to invite him over to the harem, I'll be there. We will make sure he's well adjusted. Play with her cheek.
And oh, how she brightens.
Now, if my estimations are correct, Johanna should be coming to see me soon. He'll look over with a grin. Probably actually very much like the GIF, actually.
Her brows pop up.
Estimation.
If I know Johanna, I gave her a copy of something that Mother gave me when I was still very young. And if I know her, and Toreadors I know well have similar gifts to us in some ways. They have the same sight we possess. if she's as talented as I am. Grins. She'll have seen exactly what I want her to see, and then the trap is set. And the bait is juicy.
So you're sharing.
Sharing. You look over at her.
Shared her a sneak peek.
I gave her an opportunity to see would she take it. And judging by the look on her face, he'll pull a lock of hair out of Mina's eyes. It's very much like yours.
Oh, she's a nosy one. She'll look.
Good. Wonder what she'll see. Like his lips almost excited. She'll see it. He has this little, those green gold, those green eyes will twinkle with dark excitement in them.
And she'll slither just a little bit closer because he's awful interested in someone that's not her.
And he'll look down.
Madeline asked me to bring a message for when you'd be free to meet, or said perhaps to bring you by.
To her place. Did she now?
Oh, she did.
And why would I go to her place?
I didn't think you were silly enough to go in, brother. I even told her that I'd been warned about how I should be careful of such things. After all, I'm just a child.
We'll meet in a place that I can torment her. After all, she's seen my back. She thought it was all because of pain.
She said she missed us.
I'm sure she did. After all, he'll swoop almost like a fucking mantis right into Mina's face. It makes that even like noise as he comes right in.
Almost reflexively. He gets like all up in her fucking business and the eyes start sparkling because that's dangerous as fuck. Which means she's excited.
After all, I watched her as Johanna's mansion burned. So desperate to try and help. So desperate to get something. It piqued my curiosity. And how blissfully unaware she was of who was causing so much chaos.
Oh, she was wondering if we'd heard about the riots.
I'll make sure.
But yes, dear brother, and
She will, since he's loomed right in, she'll just reach up and, tidy his collar a little bit.
I think she means maybe to go to the sheriff. She wanted witnesses. She wanted testimonies.
Oh,
She mentioned
did
you,
she?
Johanna.
I do know what that's about, but the important question. The important question. Grin. What's in it for me?
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Maybe the Lasombra will make useful play partners for a while. We'll see what they have to offer me.
She does seem eager to be.
We're not going to put all our eggs in one basket, Mina.
She affects a mild pout because how could he think she would assume such a thing?
You see, the true balancing point of a chaotic nature is being completely neutral to every single opposing force or hidden object. Now, for example, I helped Aldrich with his little gangrel issue. If he's capitalized on that, well, that's good for him. If he hasn't, well, it's a shame he didn't think to use it. But then the very next stroke is precious Johanna, surrounded by a swarm of torches.
And she finally takes up that impish smile again.
It was too good to not.
However, there is a divide among the small folk about that leader of theirs who's arrested and quite ill in prison. They seem to be wanting to push. Perhaps you and I could steer them in whichever direction we want to. After all, I'm sure at the meeting with Madeleine, because if I know what Madeleine wants, then I know how to get Johanna to play ball. Because my idea is we make sure that public opinion is swayed and suddenly reveal that she's not dead. Heresy. What would the Toreadors do with blackmail so rich as that? Wouldn't she have the dangling opportunity to dangle poor little Margot?
I feel like I
grin.
missed all the fun. Missed the bathhouse, missed Omar's shop. I hear it fell down around his ears.
Poor boy. The bathhouse and the visions. Poor little Margot making a deal she shouldn't have. Thanks to yours truly.
Madeleine did say that whatever it was stronger now still.
Leans right in, and who do you think made that possible?
She just
Why?
broadens her smile.
Why do you think I did what I did that night to Johanna?
I was too excited to ask.
Oh, Mina. You just sigh and turn away.
And the smile dies down. Takes up a mild frown.
Seems a little bit above my purview to assume I know what gods are thinking.
But I thought you would ask, but however you didn't, and you chose to revel in ignorance. An interesting choice. Maybe you just like
Something
playing,
very free, dear brother, about blind faith.
or maybe you just like to play with the rats down in Riverside.
She tucks up her chin a bit.
Or maybe by time it's as much mine as anyone else's. I want there to be anything left.
Yours? How do you plan to make Riverside yours?
And she holds up a finger.
One more task.
I see. And what do you be given as a reward, dear Mina?
She playfully adopts a smile, not quite so bold as to get really enthusiastic with it, but teasingly grins.
He said I'll be the Chaos Queen of Riverside. It'll be my domain as much as anyone else's.
Domain.
I already have a place there as soon as there's enough people.
Well, this quill is mighty generous to a fledgling.
She adopts a pout.
I'm not stupid enough to think he doesn't have bigger things he's trying to do.
Hmm. Seems I should be keeping an eye on him.
And she edges up a little bit, kind of almost in an appeasing fashion, adopting that kind of like slightly downward tilt of body so that she can look up at him.
I've already got one place there. As soon as there are people.
Do you? What's that?
He says there's a gambling den in the southwest corner where it meets the merchant district and the guild halls
I see.
and Cappadocian domain.
I see. You plan to make your own temple for yourself, then?
Am I already worthy of a temple, brother?
And that's when the look, and that look is ice fucking cold. It's the most coldest look she's ever gotten off Garnet in her life.
It was probably like the tone was obviously meant to be joking, but bad timing is a thing. And she goes very, very somber very fast.
And what do you know about being that, Mina? Do you see anything, or do you feign to hear something and squeal in the dark like a frightened pig?
Her eyes are already down on her hands, which are ringing.
What do you know about seeing them? What do you know, Mina?
Nothing.
Nothing. You say that with a lot of venom in his voice, oddly.
I thought you would want it.
And why would I want such a thing? It's given to you. But do you know anything of running a gambling den?
It's a very quiet little shake of head.
Well. Very well, Mina. He'll sit down and crosses both his legs. Appeal it to me. Make it worth my interest.
And she kind of slowly, far more reverently, kind of ambles forward a step or two and just sinks down right by the one foot that's planted. Well, right in front of it.
Well, you did call it a temple, brother. I know which of us deserves a temple.
Did he mention paperwork or anything of documentation?
He'll be getting it to me.
When he does, give it to Olena. She will fill out all the necessary details. You will have your ownership in name, so you can play with your rats and your dogs and be a queen, but I will control it all. I will make sure Queen sits on her throne and he'll lift her chin up and play with her hair. Make sure she looks so pretty for everyone else to watch. But we both know What would happen to the Queen without her god in the background, don't we?
Even when he goes to lift her chin, her expression is still very somber.
Of course, dear brother.
And don't mention to Quill. Not until it's right at the end. The dear brother controls. Understood?
Of course.
Now, if you're going to be a queen, we'll have to make sure the queen has subjects.
That's why I've been out at night. Riverside is half dead. It's a ghost town.
Good. See, that's clear to make sure the paperwork arrives soon. I'll make sure that it's all filled out and you get a nice percentage. And you get to play in your little kingdom. And I'll make sure it runs nice and smoothly. Just the way you like it. From my little Mina. You'll reach down and plant a very delicate kiss on her lips, like very slow and very deliberate.
She'll have a pretty flagrantly kind of adoring expression when he leans back again.
I know I couldn't do it without you.
I know. We'll have to focus on the plague doctor soon. Make sure he comes. And then we'll have some real fun once well, I'll be getting a few things to make the populace a bit more quiet and suppliant. Then I'll teach you how to break someone's mind.
She finally dares to look a little more excited. It's kind of comically reserved. It's like when you see like I don't know, like when you've got the dog that's like very excited and there's like that fringe wiggling involved, but trying so hard to be good and be still. Yeah. She's obviously excited, but obviously at the same time reining it as best she can.
We must go visit our brothers and sisters in the other city we went to soon. I want to have a few deals done with them.
Whatever you think is best, brother.
Well, if we have a good supplicant of deals, we might even be able to have a good influence and a city without plague to make sure things are safe.
You want to know what he's asking next?
Be brief.
He wants me to set the Prophet's quarter on fire.
Garnet will raise an eyebrow. Oh, really?
She nods.
That is a risk.
He says he'll have barrels, flammables, lamp oil, already set in place.
That is a risk because Cappadocians can see you. They have the sight, which means when you vanish, you'll have to be very careful. You cannot make a sound. The Cappadocians, from what I remember, play with the dead. And the Cappadocians are the prince's clan. If you're caught,
Does that mean even killing someone who sees me isn't enough?
You must never be seen.
It's a surprisingly thoughtful little nod.
If I was you, I'd be making regular visits to that quarter. To know it exactly.
I've already walked it a lot.
I'd make a map, Mina.
And she just nods. Be compliant.
You just nod.
He says he's sending a retinue of his people to get me in. And I get a bonus if they all get out too.
My, you do get all the work, don't you? And poor old Garnet just sits there, a smile, playfully.
And she'll pout.
I didn't think you'd want to play with fire, brother. I'm doing a lot of stupid things, but they're fun.
You just stand up. Seems like you don't know me at all, Mina. You start walking away.
And she looks all the more reproached.
You'll turn around. Haven't I been playing with the biggest fire since I left Mother?
And her mouth like opens and then kind of closes.
Just remember, madness. As he says that, he's gonna be a bit naughty. Because I'm naughty, Katie. What's your
You-
willpower?
Oh god damn it. At this point, let me think a second. Trying to remember if I gained any since we did the carnival scene.
I don't think you have.
Well, then I'm pretty sure I'm down to 2.
No, you've gained like 2 back, I think, so you're on 4.
Oh,
So here we go.
actually.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, Jesus! Pretty sure that's all successes, buddy.
Yep. So, Mina, you feel like someone just opened a door in your mind. Like you just hear.
He literally makes a
And you
point
hear-
of making it sound like a door slamming open.
Yeah.
The result is, or the reaction is immediate because he does like to make a show of doing it, and it always gets a response. And she's been like she had kind of sunk to her knees before and kind of risen up a bit as he started to walk away. And the second she feels the door slam open, she like falls kind of gracelessly back onto her butt and reaches up and immediately is wreathing her fingers in her hair and clutching her ears and curling down with her head grasped in her hands.
You just at first start to hear a whistling, like I can't whistle, but you hear a long whistling noise that would make it sound like ee going around your head, and then you will hear distinctly. Now, I want to make this clear in Mina's own voice, going, "Hello." Hello.
And she snatches a glance up at Garnet, still kind of curled up.
He just seems to be staring at you quite blankly, quite artificially almost. He just seems to lounge. But you do meet his eyes, and then you hear, "Hello."
And she finally just kind of stiffly, curling up even more, probably by now bringing her knees up. She says, no.
No, what? Aren't you afraid of you? Still in her voice. It sounds almost detached, like it's about to separate into 5 different voices.
And she still kind of snatches a glance up at Garnet, and seeing as he's not interacting in a way that makes it painfully blatant that it's him, she just refuses to answer.
Or maybe it's the fact that you're afraid he's right. You don't know what madness is. You don't know, do you?
She'll suffer a flood of doubt, but again, it's the distinct door opening sound that has her thrown off.
I'm gonna roll something real quick because he's gonna play a game. Roll that manip sub.
Because let's face it, in the past, the door opening is him blatantly fucking with her.
That's 3 successes as you hear Mother's voice. Or maybe you fear you're going to be exactly like me.
And that's about where she scrambles up to her feet because she's honestly more disoriented by not knowing if it's him or if it's her doing it. Maybe she's doing it to herself, but it sounded like what he does. And so she kind of, not with her usual, like, over enthusiasm, but actual, like, frantic extra motion, scrambles up to her feet. And just whatever direction he was about to walk, she immediately spins around in the other, dropping, like, forcing herself to drop her hands and kind of stiffly just tries to walk away because she's not coping with this in front of him. She's not doing it.
Then you hear Mother's laughter, the and then you hear your own laughter. Then you hear Garnet's laughter, all like a crescendo of courses, like 3 people, 3 figures laughing.
How loud is it? Like, is it like cranked up to the point of being deafening, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, she turns and goes to just walk away because she'll police this on her own. And she, especially as the volume cranks, as it's like echoing in her head, like feels like it's just bouncing off and getting louder and louder. She actually kind of stumbles and probably like kind of shoulder plants into the post between 2 of the stalls. And just stops there, leaning against it.
Then you'll hear, he is a conduit. Then you'll hear in Mother's voice, then you'll hear in your own voice, he's the one. Then you hear in Garnet's voice, the one that keeps you safe.
I'm assuming she's managed to get any sort of distance. She just very stiffly, very agitated, just kind of quietly goes, I know.
Then why do you run from him? It's because she's scared. The 2 voices seem to conflict with each other, both Mother and Garnet's voice.
I'm not running.
It's because she doesn't want to look weak in front of him.
A flare of anger, because that's too close to home.
But does she not realize broken is beautiful? Or is she too nervous to tell him that?
And she just kind of starts sinking down there where she stopped, kind of propped against the side.
And
No,
eventually,
she's decidedly conflicted.
the voices will fade into that small, like, yee noise and then just silence as Mina will feel a light touch on her back.
And she will probably whirl in almost immediately. It doesn't matter if he's still standing, she'll hug his leg, but she whirls into him for shelter almost immediately.
Shh. There. Come on, it's okay. It's just madness, Mina. The gift is beautiful. She'll pick her up very gently so she curls right onto his hands, into his lap. Can't be afraid, we can't run away from it now, can we?
You were so mad when the others let me see.
It's okay. I'm never really mad at you, Mina. I plant a kiss on her head and begin to walk off towards the harem with her.
And yeah, she just curls up and takes shelter in his arms because you know what? Does it matter if everything's completely contrary to what he said before or what he's been angry about in the past? This is what's happening right now. And this is reassuring.
Yeah.
So sliding just a little further under his thumb. I imagine that's where we can call it.
Alright, okay.
Unless you had more plans.
Nope. Good.
So there we will say thank you, players, for playing and watchers for watching. We'll see you next time on Edessa, the Dark Crusade.